Welcome back to the deep dive. We have a stack of court documents and psych reports on the desk today, and they all point to one of the most disturbing files in modern criminal history. We are analyzing the case of Armin Meiwes, the Rotenburg Cannibal.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a heavy one. But our mission here isn't just to recount the gore. We really need to explore the specific paradox this case created. What happens when extreme psychology just crashes into the absolute limits of the law?
Right, because usually a crime requires a victim who says no. In this case, and this is what makes the sources so difficult to parse, the victim, Bernd Brandes, actually said yes.
He didn't just say yes. He traveled across Germany to make it happen. It forces you to ask if a crime is actually still a crime when everyone involved consents.
Okay, so let's unpack this. The timeline starts in a very specific corner of the early 2000s internet. Meiwes posts an advertisement on a forum called the Cannibal Cafe.
And he wasn't using code or anything. The sources show the post was just shockingly bureaucratic.
I have the translation right here. It reads, looking for a well-built 18 to 30-year-old to be slaughtered and then consumed. I mean, it sounds like a dark role-play scenario.
Which is what 99% of the people on that forum were doing. It was just fantasy. But Bernd Brandes was the anomaly here. He was a 43-year-old engineer, highly intelligent, successful. He didn't fit the victim profile at all.
No, he didn't.
But he had a distinct paraphilia, a real, genuine sexual desire to be eaten.
So this wasn't a predator tricking prey. The email logs between them show months of negotiation. It reads way more like a business contract than a murder plot.
That is a crucial distinction. When Brandes arrived at the house in Rotenburg on March 9th, 2001, he wasn't trapped. He could have left. The sources indicate they even had dinner together before the main event.
And Meiwes taped it. The police later recovered hours of footage. We won't get graphic just for the sake of it, but we do have to touch on the mechanics to understand the legal fallout later.
Right. The footage confirms the sequence. They actually attempted to consume part of Brandes while he was alive, which medically is horrifyingly difficult. Eventually, Brandes lost consciousness from blood loss, and Meiwes delivered the fatal stab wound.
Afterward, Meiwes processes the body, and here is where the mundane horror really kicks in. He didn't hide the remains in a swamp. He bagged them, labeled them, and put them in the freezer right next to his pizza.
Like he was meal prepping. Over the next 10 months, he consumed about 20 kilograms of Brandes. But looking at the psychiatric evaluations, Meiwes didn't see this as destruction. He saw it as preservation.
Preservation? How does that work?
It connects to severe abandonment trauma. Meiwes grew up with a suffocatingly controlling mother and a father who left. The psychological report suggests that by consuming Brandes, Meiwes believed he was making him a part of himself forever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
a brother who could never leave.
So in his logic, it was an act of love, or at least absolute possession. But reality eventually came knocking.
Yes, he got lonely again. In 2002, he posted a new ad. A college student saw it, realized this guy wasn't role-playing, and immediately called the police.
They find the tapes, they find the meat. Open and shut case.
You would totally think so.
Yeah.
But the trial is where this gets fascinating. The defense threw a huge wrench in the gears. They argued the victim consented.
And under German law, that matters a lot.
Hugely. There is a specific charge in Germany for killing on request. It carries a max sentence of 5 years and is meant for mercy killings. The defense argued this was just an extreme version of assisted suicide.
And the court bought it.
Initially, yes. In 2004, he was convicted of manslaughter and got just 8.5 years.
That is wild. 8 years for butchering a man.
The German public was furious. The prosecution appealed, leading to a retrial in 2006. That court took a very different view. They looked at the motive.
Meaning why he actually did it.
Exactly. They ruled that Meiwes didn't kill Brandes out of mercy. He did it for his own sexual gratification.
So that bumps it from killing on request to full-blown murder.
Yes, they sentenced him to life. The legal precedent set here is massive. Consent is not a blank check. The state effectively ruled that there are certain things you simply cannot agree to.
Right. Your bodily autonomy stops where the state's moral baseline begins. It is such a cultural touchstone now. You have Rammstein writing Mein Teil about it, films like Grim Love. It's stuck in the collective psyche because it is so incredibly uncomfortable.
It forces us to look at the why. We like to think the law protects us from bad guys. This case proves the law also exists to protect us from ourselves.
Which leaves us with a difficult final thought for you, the listener. We generally believe that what two consenting adults do in private is their business.
But this case draws a hard line in the sand.
So if self-determination is a fundamental human right, why does society step in when two people agree to the unthinkable? Is it to save the victim, or is it just because the rest of us can't stomach the reality?
That is the big question.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Sleep well.